Hey guys, so happy Tuesday to everybody. Sorry that I didn't upload a video yesterday, but Stella had her 18-month checkup a month late. But anyway, she had that yesterday, and so that was kind of like a morning ordeal, and then she didn't feel very well afterwards because she got a couple of immunizations. Anyway, long story short, the day just kind of got away from me, so I did miss you guys yesterday, but I thought that I would start out today with showing you my basic foundation routine. I think that I've probably done one of these videos in the past, but just for new subscribers or just as like a quick refresher. And I'm also going to include a review of the McNamara Miracle Skin Transformer in the end. So this is basically showing you how I use this product and the products that I use it in conjunction with to really make this work well on my skin. So I normally skip this step when I'm doing tutorials just because I think it's kind of boring, but I don't know, some people might be interested in it. So the first thing that I always do is put on an eye primer, and I consider this a part of my foundation routine because it is literally the foundation of the entire look that I'm going to end up with for the day. So even when I'm not doing my makeup, I always put this on because I do have really oily eyelids, and it just helps to control the oil. And I'm using the Too Faced Shadow Insurance in Lemon Drop. There's no difference between this and the like blue tube of the Shadow Insurance, other than that this has a little bit of a yellow tint, which helps to correct a little bit of the redness on my lids, but it's nothing drastic. So anyway, I put just like a tiny amount of that, and then I spread it between my two pointer fingers to get an even amount. I always put a little bit underneath my lower lash line as well as on the corners here, because I will also get oily in this area right here. And then, you know, it just causes my, what do you call that? Eyeliner to melt. So anyway, I focus the majority on my lid where most of the problem is, and then work the rest underneath in this little crease here. And then obviously up to my brows as well. So you just want a nice thin layer. Shadow Insurance or any kind of eye primer is not something that you want to goop on. The point is to help control the oil, and just using the tiniest amount is really what works best. Okay, so now I'm going to take the McNamara Miracle Skin Transformer, and I have talked about this so many times. This really has become a holy grail product for me. I used to just get samples of it in the past because I will readily admit that it's kind of expensive. This is a, what is this, a 1 ounce tube? I don't even know what size this is. I'm guessing it's 1.7 fluid ounces. So I believe this runs anywhere from like $45 to $48 at Sephora, so it is kind of expensive. I got lucky in that I was able to find it at a local Costco earlier in the year, and I have since stocked up. So I'm good to go for a little bit with this product, but absolutely once I run out of like my stash, I am going to be purchasing it at Sephora. I cannot be without this. So I basically take about a pea size amount, and then I spread it between my fingers. So it's not a lot of product because you don't need a lot. And what I do is deposit a little bit of that on my forehead, and then I sort of re-spread out what I have on the other hand, and then essentially deposit that on different areas of my face and then start rubbing it in. So a pea size amount is all that you should need for your entire face. If you are looking to bring this down onto your neck, you'll need a little bit more, but for the most part, that amount works great. And I really prefer to use my hands because I feel like it warms the product up a little bit and just helps it spread around my face easier. Helps it to basically get it worked into my skin better than a brush would. Now this is definitely not going to give you foundation coverage, so I wouldn't expect that from this product, but it does help to blur some of your imperfections and it makes an awesome makeup primer. So for those of you that have been with me for a while and have watched any of my videos, you know that I'm constantly complaining about the fact that I have really oily skin. Now, since I have started using this, I really haven't used my Milk of Magnesia nearly as much as I have in the past, because I think that over time, this has sort of helped with my oil production a little bit. It's not a vast difference, but it has definitely made enough of a difference to where I don't have to use the Milk of Magnesia every single day. So anyway, once I get that worked into my skin, I give it maybe like a minute to just kind of like sit there and kind of soak into my skin. I would say that the benefits of this product are very similar to a BB cream. This is not touted or sold as a BB cream, but I think that the fact that it hydrates, primes, enhances, mattifies, and protects sort of puts it in that BB cream category. This does have an SPF of 20. I have never had an issue when I have taken pictures with flashback. So, you know, I obviously don't just wear this by itself. You'll see what I'm going to put on top of it in a minute. But I've never had an issue with, like, looking shiny or, you know, getting that annoying flashback in pictures when I've taken pictures with this on. So, anyway, this is just, I'll talk a little bit more about at the end of the video, but I really do love this product and I highly, highly recommend it. So anyway, once my skin sort of feels just really soft and like the product has worked its way into my skin a little bit, then I go in with my preferred mineral makeup. And I wear mineral makeup just because it works better for my skin type, which again is pretty oily. A little bit more towards the combination ends of things as fall has started, but definitely still oily. So I use the Everyday Minerals base, and the formula that I really like is the semi-matte base, and my color is Winged Butter. So I take some of that into the lid, you can see there, and then I really like to use the Eco Tools. I believe this is a bronzer brush, but any kind of thick kabuki, like dense brush like this, I think works really well for getting the best coverage. So any brush that you have that's similar to this would be a good one to use. And then I basically swirl the product around the lid until it works its way into the brush. And then I simply start buffing it onto my skin. I have been using Everyday Minerals for a really long time, and I went to Everyday Minerals after I found out that the Bare Minerals or Bare Essentials really wasn't working for me anymore. It was starting to break me out, and it was before they had their matte formula that I made the switch over. I believe it was the bismuth oxide in the original formula that was making me break out, and so that's what kind of prompted the hunt for something else. And I came across Everyday Minerals after I heard about it in a video by Emily Noel 83, and placed an order, got some samples, and I really have not gone back since, and I really don't see a reason to go back. Even if they took the bismuth oxide out of the original formula, or even if the matte formula like didn't contain it and kept me nice and matte, there's no reason for me to go back, because I just find that this actually works quite well for me and it's less expensive. So, and as fast as I go through mineral foundation, it's definitely not something that I want to spend a ton of money on. So if I can find something that's a little bit less expensive and that works just as well, if not better, then I'm going to stick with that. So you can kind of see that with each section of my face, I tap a little bit more of the product into the lid. If you are just looking for a really nice, natural coverage, you know, you can use, you know, only like one tap of the product into the lid or two. But for me, I like a little bit more coverage. So, and I'm really not tapping a lot in there, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell. But that's the amount. And again, I work that into the brush and then onto the areas of my face that I need it. I do bring this right underneath my eyes. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have particularly dry or crepey under eyes, so I'm able to do that. But that might not be something for everybody. Always bring any kind of foundation, whether it's liquid or, feels weird talking while you're like going over your throat with a brush. Any kind of like liquid or powder foundation, always bring it down onto your neck so that it blends seamlessly. I see so many women with that line where they just like end their foundation right here, and it's so obvious. Like it just takes like a second to bring it down a little bit further, and at least that way there's a little bit of a gradient versus like this harsh line of like, I cut my makeup off right here. So it's really easy to do. So I really recommend doing that. So on days where I do have a little bit more redness, so for some reason today I have a little bit more redness in my cheeks. It's probably not showing off on camera because I sit in front of a really big window, so it's really bright and it kind of washes me out. But I just take a little bit more of the product and I sort of tap it in. And that gives me enough of that coverage. So sort of my last step in this foundation process is using a setting powder. And in the past, I used to use Mineral Veil, which I still have a little bit of. But I found that the Everyday Minerals Sunlight Finishing Dust Finishing Powder is actually basically the exact same thing, and it's less expensive. So I've been using this, and it works great. I should actually do a comparison video between the two. Because they're the exact same product for a significant price difference, I guess. Does that make sense? It's weird wording. Anyway, again, work the product into the brush using the lid. And then just bring that around your face. I find that the finishing powder helps to diffuse my pores a little bit. It obviously also helps with a little bit more of the oil absorption, which is nice. Get a little bit more for my forehead. Across my eyelids, underneath my eyes, and I'm good to go. So this right here gives me the perfect base for the rest of my makeup. It helps to get the contour to go on really smoothly. It helps with looking like really polished, like when I apply my blush. It just sort of, it gives a good base for everything, if that makes sense. That's why it's called foundation, right? So anyway, from here, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then when I'm all done, I will come back and do a little bit more of an in-depth review on the Miracle Skin Transformer. So I will see you guys in a few minutes. Hey guys, so let's just get the obvious out of the way. I'm clearly sporting a very red lip right now, and I was actually just playing with a couple of different looks for tutorials for later on in the month. So hopefully this won't be too distracting in this video, but as most of you know, when you have a red lip, it stains, and so I just decided to keep it on for the rest of this video. If you're curious about what this is, I did show this on my Instagram yesterday. If you're not following me on Instagram, the link is always down below, and I post pretty frequently on there. But it's the Rimmel Exaggerate Full Color Lip Liner in Red Diva. And it's just a matte red. It's like a cool toned red liner. And so I filled in my lips with that and then went over it with Revlon Super Lustrous Matte Lipstick in the color 006 Really Red. So this is, I believe, a dupe for either Ruby Woo or Russian Red. I think it's Russian Red from MAC. So... and yeah, and the hair, so I don't make sense at all today. I look ridiculous, I'm fully aware, but I'm going to get my hair cut later on this afternoon, so I didn't do anything with my hair either. So I just look silly right now, but let me continue on with the official review for this. So when I was at Costco the other day, and it was a Costco up in the Olympia area, so not where I live, they had more of the Miracle Skin Transformers that I think they were kind of clearancing out, and ridiculous packaging, right? So I picked up 2 more. These were $23.99, and I have a total of 3 backups. I hate this packaging. But anyway, I grabbed 2 more just because for $23.99, that is probably half of what I would pay for this product at Sephora. It does have an expiration date, so I would encourage you to go by that expiration date because this does contain an SPF, which I believe is what the purpose of the expiration date is for. Other than that, you shouldn't keep your products forever. But anyway, this expires in April of 2015. I will certainly go through all 3 of these by then, so I'm not worried about that. But anyway, I love this product. And let me just kind of tell you like what it's done for my skin. So the main thing that I have noticed, and I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, is that I have really noticed that since using this product, my skin isn't quite as oily. In the past, I used to have to use the Milk of Magnesia as my makeup primer every single day. I've done tons of videos about it, so just search Milk of Magnesia on my channel. Videos will come up. But this has allowed me to stop using that. Not that I think that that's a bad product to use, but sometimes it's just a little bit too much, especially since my skin isn't quite as oily right now. I really only recommend that for like your T-zone, or if you're super oily all over, use it all over. But this has allowed me to wear an SPF every single day, get a little bit of coverage, and help control my oil. And it's all in one step. It's easy to apply. It just makes my skin look and feel so much smoother. I have tried samples of other BB creams in the past, you know, especially when the trend first started happening a couple years ago where everybody was like, BB creams, you need them. So I tried some. They either made me break out or they turned me into a giant oil slick, like disgusting oil slick. So this is the one BB cream that I've tried that actually works for my particular skin type, which again is pretty oily, but leaning more towards combination right now. So this also allows me to get a buildable coverage. So if I wanted to, I could put on a second layer of this and get even better coverage, and maybe not necessarily have to use my Everyday Minerals base, but I just find that I like the look that I get from the combination of one coat of this, one coat, like it's spackle or paint, kind of is, I guess. And this, it gives me the most flawless look for my skin. My skin is not perfect. I'm never going to say my skin's perfect. I have huge issues with large pores, especially on my cheeks and on my nose. And I find that this fills those in, but not to the point where it looks cakey or obvious. It just fills it in enough, and then going over it with my mineral foundation blurs that even further and just makes my skin look so smooth. It helps with moisturizing my skin just enough. I just cannot say enough good things about this product, and I love the fact that I get SPF protection from this, because in the past, as dumb as it sounds, and as much as I work outside, especially during the summer, I used to never wear an SPF. I would rely on sort of the natural SPF or sun protection factor that I would get from mineral foundation. It's not enough, folks. So anyway, this has allowed me to finally start wearing an SPF on a daily basis, which is what everybody should be doing all seasons of the year. And it also gives me coverage, and it helps to control my oil at the same time. So that has been absolutely fantastic for me, I guess I should say. I'm not going to say that this product is going to work miracles for everybody, but I do think that it is worth a try. So when you purchase this product from a store like Ulta or Sephora, you know that you can return it if it doesn't work for you. I don't know that this would necessarily be the best product for somebody to use who has maybe super, super dry skin and they're looking for things that are very hydrating. I wouldn't say that this is the most hydrating product. It's good for people with, you know, normal skin to oily skin. You know, I think that you would probably need an additional moisturizer on top of this, but I can rely on this as my main moisturizer, if that makes sense, just because of my skin type. Get a sample of it. Just walk into your local Sephora and say, I would like a sample of the Miracle Skin Transformer, and they will give it to you in a little pot. You will have enough for at least 3 to 4 days. You'll be able to get a sense of whether it works for your skin type, if it's going to make you break out, if it gives you the coverage that you want. Just try it. I think it's absolutely one of those products that is totally worth trying. If you don't like it, that's okay. Not everything that works for me is going to work for you. But I do think that this is something that is an absolutely fantastic product. When I run out of my Smashbox BB cream in my professional kit, this is what I'm going to be going for when I'm applying a primer to my clients. Like I said, this works well with photography. I have had professional pictures taken of myself, you know, like family pictures and stuff, when wearing this. And I love the look that it gives on camera. You know, I have seen both unretouched and retouched pictures of myself wearing this. And even like the unretouched pictures before they do all of like, you know, the Photoshop magic that they do for professional pictures. I like the way that my skin looks. It just looks good. So anyway, if you have specific questions, definitely leave them down for me below, because I will absolutely get back to you with, you know, answers to whatever I didn't manage to shove into this crazy long video. But I love it. If you can find it at Costco, I would certainly think about picking it up there, just because it's going to be a little bit less expensive. But I do think it is worth the money. And this container right here, I would say that I probably still have another month left with this. And I started using it, it was like before the summer started, I think. So I'm definitely getting my money's worth out of this. You need a pea-size amount. You don't need that much, unless you're looking for like a second coat or slathering or whatever you want to call it. But worth a try. The color that I use, by the way, is light. It does come in different colors for different skin tones. I've tried the medium in the past. Medium did not work for me. Go for the light if you are anywhere in this range. So anyway, I believe she also has a translucent formula of this, which I wouldn't maybe necessarily bother with unless you're going to wear it at night, but I don't know why you would wear an SPF to bed at night. But yeah, awesome product. Hasn't made me break out, and literally I will never be without it. So questions down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.